Hi everybody, so this is a webinar for an aesthetics webinar or aesthetics based webinar. We will be being joined by the lovely Rebecca Francis, who is the owner of Francis Clinics. She's been with Booksy and using the Boxy platform for quite a while now, so we're very lucky to have her join us today this morning to just really have a really nice conversation with her about the business, about how she's found the last 12 months and the crazy year that we've just experienced, and also how she finds working with the Booksy platform as well. So we're just going to take a couple of minutes, wait for Rebecca to join us, and then as soon as she joins us, we'll get started. Okay, everybody, so we are joined by Rebecca Francis. Hi, Rebecca. It's absolutely a pleasure to meet you.
Hi.
So for anybody that doesn't already know, Rebecca is the owner of Francis Clinics, and you have two different clinics. You have one in Eastbourne, which is the home of Boxy, and also one on the world famous Harley Street, London, which is amazing. So can't wait to hear a little bit more about that.
Thank you.
But just to say, we're so grateful for you joining us today. So thank you very much for taking the time. So first of all, let me start with, wow, what a year that the last 12 months have been. What a whirlwind. It's fair to say that it's been a really crazy 12 months in the industry, especially as our industry, the beauty industry and the aesthetics industry, has been massively affected, hasn't it? With our treatments being close contact, it's pretty much stopped us trading for the last 12 months, which has been really difficult. How have you found that, Rebecca?
It's been really hard, but I think everyone's been in the same boat, and it's just about adapting, isn't it? Just things have just changed. We're just every day adapting, and I think being a paramedic as well, like I've seen how that world has changed every single day I go in for a shift. So it's not unusual that the next, the rules come out different for this business for COVID. So it's just about adapting and going with it, I think.
I think perfectly said, definitely. Well, obviously, 2020 now is firmly behind us, thank gosh for that, and we're already a quarter of the way into the year for 2021, aren't we? So obviously we're joined with you today to be inspired by your incredible business growth, share a little bit of your story, and to hear your thoughts a little bit on the year ahead that we're going to experience and how you've found working alongside Booksy. So that's kind of the main objective of today's lovely chat. But we at Booksy already know you. And know you well, as you've been with us for quite a while now. But for our audience, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got your business started?
So I'm a paramedic. I'm an operational commander for the area that I'm in. So my job with them is to attend kind of major incidents, some of the most critically ill patients, and support people that way. I've done this business now since 2017. I've got two little girls. I think that feels like enough, like, to be fair. That's a lot of work, but yeah, that's me really. So lots of places, I mean,
definitely a very multi-talented lady with being a paramedic as well as running a really successful business, and your two gorgeous children as well. That's such a handful. What do you do to stay motivated every day just to get through it?
It's about looking and seeing all the other amazing, incredible women that surround me in my life and that I meet every single day. Every one of my clients they've got their own wonderful story, and they're all so hardworking, and it just inspires me all the time to see people that have come across these, life's hard for lots of people, and just people are just really motivational, and I'm all about women empowering other women, and seeing how well motivated other people can be and how successful they can be. It just kind of like inspires me always when you feel tired or exhausted, or I don't know, any of the demotivating things. You just think, no, like, come on, these people are incredible. So yeah, I've been really lucky to meet such lovely people. So
Oh, that's really lovely, and exactly that. It brings on the positivity, isn't it, when you are surrounded with people that are incredible. So that's really, really lovely to hear. Let's delve into a little bit about the business now, shall we? And obviously the aesthetic side. So what made you want to get into aesthetics?
Yeah, so obviously as a paramedic commander, like I only go to the worst moments in someone's life, and very stressful moments, and moments that obviously you make a huge difference in, but in a very sad kind of serious way. And I wanted to bring kind of the medical knowledge that I had into this industry, as well as kind of there being a lot of happiness and joy. Like people, when they come to see me, they're excited, they're looking forward to it. It's basically the most complete bipolar opposite to what I do in my paramedic field. And I feel that makes me a really balanced person. I'm not just seeing the like worst moments in life. I'm seeing like, you know, people preparing for weddings and just their happiness that they want to be here. Like it's a really nice balance for me. And I think it makes me more grounded as a person overall.
That makes complete sense, really, isn't it? When you explain it like that, it really does kind of just sync really well together. You know, being a paramedic, what an incredible career alone, standalone career. And to be surrounded by that, I can imagine it is very rewarding when you have a great outcome, but it must be extremely upsetting as well, like you've just said. But then, yeah, absolutely, the aesthetic side of it, we're caring for people still, but in a different way, aren't we?
Absolutely.
So it really does make sense when you say it like that. It's really interesting to hear somebody with both professions explain it in that way. So thank you for that.
That's okay.
With regards to your business, was there anything that you found to be a bit more of an obstacle when starting your own beauty business? Because we've got people sitting here today that will be watching this and out of now coming out of the pandemic, fingers crossed, certainly out of the last lockdown, and it may have changed their whole perspective of what they want to do going forward, and will be joined amongst people that think, I'm going to do it. I'm going to start off, but I'm a bit scared. So what were the obstacles and how did you overcome them?
Do you know what? The biggest obstacle was client expectation. I think as a paramedic, I tell you that's your options, and you that's it, like that's the option kind of thing. And the expectations that people have in terms of the beauty industry, it's like any industry, it's not just aesthetics. You know, they go into a hairdresser's with a picture of Kylie Jenner's hair and they have got short hair and they say I want this, and sometimes that's not achievable. And it's about really being honest, and sometimes having honest conversations is quite hard to say I can't, that's not achievable, or it's actually going to take a lot longer of a journey than you like. I mean, Instagram is amazing and it's done wonders for my business, but equally there's a lot of fakery to it, so that people are seeing what may be a result of someone's a year journey to get to, and they want that straight away. So it was just, for me, it's definitely about learning to manage expectations, and I'm still learning that all the time. So definitely, and I know Dr. Charlie, who works with me as well, she's a dentist, a dental surgeon, and she says exactly the same. Like from a medical kind of way where you tell people and that's it, to then an aesthetic way that like, their expectation management is completely different. But yeah, that's my biggest obstacle. But
I can imagine it is really difficult to be able to maintain a great relationship with your customer and your client while still telling them maybe not right now, and maybe that's not going to be the outcome for you, but actually what about this instead? But I can imagine people really respect you for that.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. People at the time, they might be disappointed that they're not going to get what they've asked for, but they do respect the honesty. And you know, I would never do anything on someone that I just know isn't the right thing for them. So ultimately they do end up appreciating it, and if you can give honest advice, you can't really go wrong, I don't think.
Agreed, definitely. I think that's valuable, definitely. So outside of the business, let's talk about your partnership with Booksy. So obviously we're super grateful to have you as part of our Booksy team, but what made you decide to go for a booking system outside of Booksy? What made you think, actually now I do need a booking system, now's the time?
I have no time. It's as simple as that. I have no time, and the time that Booksy saves me is unbelievable. And it just means that that time I can be in the clinic more, I can do much more, and I can really grow my business. So absolutely, like, I had no time.
time is everything, isn't it? And time is money in our industry, whether that be 5 minutes or 5 hours, it's worth money at the end of it. So great.
Exactly.
So that brings me perfectly on to, you made the decision that you wanted to save a little bit more time and function a little bit maybe of a smarter way when it comes to your time. Certainly with juggling the lifestyle that you do have with both roles. What made you decide to opt for Booksy as a platform?
So Booksy is incredibly easy to use, not just from a practitioner point of view, but also from a client point of view. I've not had any clients tell me that they can't navigate the system, they don't know how to use it. And equally from a practitioner point of view, when other girls have had to come in and work with me within the clinic, even if they've had absolutely no training, but it's so straightforward to use. And I think that just makes it, it's just really, really easy to use. And that's what I need, really.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's brilliant. It is exactly that. You don't want a system that's too complicated, and then clients are never going to want to cross over, because I think for clients to leave your side and become self-sufficient is a hard enough task anyway. And that kind of brings me on to a question that I wanted to ask a little bit later, but I think that's a really good one to kind of dip into now. So when it comes to your clients and knowing how much they love to kind of be with us and for us to kind of communicate with them and message us directly for appointments, how did you manage to get your clients to get out of that kind of routine of coming to you and actually be self-sufficient and swap over to a Booksy booking system?
What I noticed was a lot of clients, they book in relation to when they scroll on Instagram, and most of that time is around the 7 o'clock in the evening time. So the salon wouldn't be open anyway at that time. So they're looking through Instagram, they're at home, they've relaxed, they've got their own diary with them. And the fact that you can press book now directly from Instagram to Booksy, the client can then see all my availability straight away. They were able to get my, they had access to me 24/7, and I think they felt they were actually getting hold of me easier than they were without that, because they would, if they messaged me in the evening, they wouldn't get a reply until within working hours, whereas they've already got an appointment 10 minutes after they've, if they were less than that, isn't it? It's a minute to book an appointment. But so it was really easy. I had no client didn't really enjoy it and found it a very easy transition, to be honest.
That's great. That's really great. Definitely, that's what I always say when I'm speaking to certainly our customers with Booksy, is they're not waiting around for you to reply, which I think is half the battle, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then once they make that transition, they really appreciate that it's an instant thing. Certainly, yes, I think the last 12 months, if anything, it's taught us that actually now we've all transitioned to doing everything online via an app, haven't we, these days? It's kind of just a natural progression, really. Perfect. So what do you feel like the most important thing that Booksy does for your business when it comes to kind of the support that it gives you and how it operates?
It's the again, like we just spoke about, the 24/7 access, that the client gets to me, but also that the 24/7 access that Booksy provides me as a practitioner support wise. So if I've got any problems, there's the online chat button, and I literally can go, I need this to happen, and somebody does it incredibly quickly and efficiently and solves my problem if I have any, which is very rare, but if I want to change a service or something very quickly, so as much as they can access me 24/7, I can access you guys 24/7, which is exactly what I need. So that's definitely
perfect
it for me.
And if I had to put you on a spot and say, what are your best favourite features that Booksy gives you that you can't live without, what would they be?
So they're some of your newest features, funnily enough, and the fact that I can create my own custom forms. So with COVID, at the moment, I've created a custom form in relation to symptoms and all the things that I need to know before the person even arrives at the door. And the fact they can fill that form in before they've even left their home in the morning is just time saving, and it means that they don't come out and then we turn them away if, for example, they didn't meet the requirements. So that's fantastic. I can edit that, and I use that, and I've amended that all the time. When we came back this time, I had to add in questions about the vaccination and have you had it between this window and that window, and it just people filled that in when they made their booking, so they will, I can just amend it right now, and I think that's fabulous. And then the other feature, which again is really been fabulous post COVID, is the I'm Ready button or text message that it sends the client. So obviously I don't want a waiting room full of people now, and people like to come early or things like that. And now that I text them, I press I'm ready for them in the Booksy app, and they know that they can come and buzz the door and they're ready for their appointment. And I think that has been, well, that's just been brilliant, because it, you know, in terms of COVID and protocols, I'm not, social distancing is being maintained, and all those things are really important, which I wouldn't have been able to do if I didn't use Booksy. So yeah, that's been brilliant.
Yeah, I definitely love the fact that you've mentioned the I'm ready feature, because it's a unique feature to Booksy, and I think it really is great. It, you know, it's almost like that buzzer in a restaurant when you go into a restaurant and then you're told to wait your turn, and then as soon as that buzzer goes off, you run in and it's your table's ready for you. That's exactly how it works, isn't it, for yourself? So I'm really pleased that you do like that feature, because I know that was a really important feature. Brilliant. Okay. So let me talk to you a little bit about marketing, because any successful business is obviously cracked marketing. Marketing, I believe, makes the world go round and spin. You know, it's all about communication. It's all about how the business looks, the brand, and getting the message of who we are and what we do out there. So when it comes to Booksy, how do you use Booksy to communicate to your customers about offers and promotions?
We mainly use the mass kind of emailing system that you guys have set up for us. So we find that an email or even a text message, if we've got something really exciting like a discount or something, a cancellation or something like that comes up, and we find that clients really like that, because they can, like, again, view that in their emails when they're ready. It doesn't feel invasive to them. They're not getting phone calls. So for us, the email system, and it targets our clients, we can really narrow that down to specific clients as well that we want to send it to. So yeah, we think that's definitely for us how Booksy's really helped us market our business. So
that's great. Really, really great. I think I'm from a beauty industry as well, and I used to have my own little business, and I would come up with these amazing ideas, you know, middle massage, light bulb moment, I should do this, and that will bring me in lots of new customers and fill up my diary for this week or this month. And by the time I'd actually put pen to paper and then initiated that message, the moment had passed. So it's really great that you can use Booksy in such an instantaneous way to just kind of choose one of the templates and just send it straight out. So I'm really pleased that you find that a valuable feature too. So obviously the world isn't all rosy, as we've discovered in the last 12 months. So with regards to, we know that you adore Booksy and it's working well for you as you've been with us for a number of years. But is there anything that you feel that Booksy could improve in order to support you in the business?
I think simply the fact that as the business has grown, we get a limited, and obviously it's a really good amount of free messages and text messages, but obviously now we're using the I'm ready feature. I think just having more text messages available to us now we're getting bigger and fuller would be really helpful, actually. But that's just as we've done well. So yeah, more texts, please. More texts, please. Noted.
Perfect. And now let's have a little chat about the boost feature. Okay, so for our lovely audience who's not currently using Booksy and maybe isn't aware of some of its features, one of its features are obviously Boost, and Boost is there to put you into a live marketplace, elevate the profile in order to attract new business, keep your profile relevant, and bring new customers to your door. Okay, once they're with you for as long as you can keep them for. Yes, there is a small commission that you pay to Booksy for that initial first visit, but everything that you make from that customer afterwards stays in your pocket. How have you found, I know that you do currently use Boost, so how have you found that feature's benefited the business?
So what I found is that when I use Boost, it's quite specific. So I use it when I have a very last minute cancellation or potentially a no-show, which doesn't happen that often, but when it does, it's obviously time that I would like to fill. And because it lets my existing clients and clients that already search for those kind of services see me, it's not constantly putting messages on Instagram and telling everyone if I have a cancellation. It's not kind of like overloading people. So if they're wanting something, I feel like it doesn't ethically cross the line with I've had a cancellation, quick book me now. Like if they are already on there and already looking for something, Boost allows them to then know that I'm then free, rather than me kind of hammer it down there. So their face. So I definitely use it for cancellations. And I know clients now, they'll sign up to the Booksy feature to book me, but then they book their hairdresser, they book their boyfriend's barber through it. They suddenly use it. So for a lot of other businesses, you can see how it would be really beneficial, because they're already on that app. And then it leads to I actually going to get my nails done now, so I'll go on there, and then instantly that person's business is kind of there. So yeah, I think it's really helpful.
Yeah, it's great for cross promotion, isn't it? It's really nice that you mentioned that, because rather than just thinking about our bubble and our little world, it is great that then you can start to kind of cross promote and be help your clients find other businesses on there that is completely different to yours.
Yeah,
so that's great. So let me put you on the spot then. So how many clients do you think you welcomed into your business via using Boost? Have you had a great success from it?
If I've had a cancellation, I've used Boost, I've filled it. So obviously that I haven't needed to use it this coming out of lockdown, because it's only been 2 weeks and it's been a bit hectic. But obviously the last kind of time when we were open in between the two lockdowns, if we had anything like that, like for example, cancellations happen not necessarily because clients change their minds, but they find out now they've got a symptom or their family members got. So we were getting more cancellations than normal due to COVID kind of restrictions. So that's when we used it. So numbers wise, I couldn't really tell you, but it definitely works when we do use it. So yeah, it's really good.
That's great. That's really great. Perfect. Well, I'm going to just delve into a little bit like what the future looks like at the moment. Because obviously it's a very uncertain time, certainly for our industry. We've come out of lockdown. We're all excited to be back at work. But kind of the scars from the last 12 months are kind of still lingering. Are we going to go back in? Are we not going to go back in? Fingers crossed that doesn't happen. But for yourself, you're a flourishing business now. And you have your regular clients in your different clinics, both in Eastbourne and Harley Street in London. But what would you advise your other industry peers to do in order to achieve their goals and get them through the last 12 months and focus on moving forward?
I think it's about still maintaining really good standards, really good practice. At the moment, obviously, the demand is really high, and potentially people could look at reducing existing appointment times to get more people in. I don't think that's the right thing to do. I think it's about maintaining good ethics, good values, continuing to be the business that people want you to be. The PPE rules have changed. Like people like to see that you're following those rules, and some people, if they don't, I don't know, because you have to leave time. For example, you have to leave time between clients to allow the room to kind of aerate. And yes, you could get people in that point, but you're not keeping people as safe. And I think it would be easy to kind of cut those corners. And I just think don't maintain the practice, maintain who you are, maintain your ethics of your business. And I think that will always stand you in good stead.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think it's always great to publicize that as well, isn't it? Do you do a lot of publication on social media of the measures that you're taking and the steps that you're taking to keep people safe?
So we advertise our COVID protocols. They're quite extensive, so we advertise those quite often. You see the PPE measures within the clinic. We have like anti-fogging systems and all sorts of things. We have kind of I have really picked what the paramedic and the NHS field do, and I've applied it to aesthetics. It is above and beyond what's needed, but I just think it's about keeping people safe, and you've got a duty of care, so that should kind of be the way we do things. So I do model my business on the NHS, and although aesthetics isn't regulated by the CQC or things like that, I've taken those practices and put them into my business, and it's just about having good morals, isn't it? And I think anyone who does that is going to be fine.
Absolutely. And I think exactly that, there'll be people and part of the clientele that you hold there that will be absolutely racing to come back to you, can't wait to come back for their services, their treatments. But there will be a handful of people, or maybe more than a handful of people, that are still really nervous, a little bit scared, not quite sure. And I think you taking those measures and also publicising on Instagram, on Facebook, letting people know what the client journey looks like and what you're doing to keep them safe, and yourself and your team, can only be a good thing, I think. Definitely.
And with that custom form on Booksy, they book their appointment, they see that straight away, so they already know they're going to be asked about that. So again, that like reassures them in terms of the steps we're taking, that they've booked that appointment, and then as soon as they booked it, Booksy's asking them all these questions about COVID, and that's what we've created. So I think again that links to that, and it's really, really important.
Absolutely. So in terms of the last year, is that changed the way that you're going to operate outside of the initial client journey and the PPE and the social distancing and the ventilation time in between treatments? Is that changed how innovative you are, or maybe different veins of income that you're thinking of? You know, we've gone through a period of time where we've not been able to trade, and we've had to come up with new ways to make money and keep the business going. Is that kind of had an impact on the way you look at things?
I think for me, it's about kind of like I said before, about bringing the practices of the NHS and the standards that you would expect there, and kind of, which I've always done, and just making sure they stay. So not cutting corners and going above and beyond in all aspects of this kind of world. So yeah, I mean, COVID's changed how we operate, but I think it's only kind of enhanced some of the really good practices that I would genuinely say I already do. So I'm, I hope they stay, some of them.
Yeah, brilliant. Great. Okay, so with such a difficult year behind us, obviously there's many businesses out there, as we've already discussed, of what the next 12 months look like. Are there any exciting things that you're going to be bringing in outside of obviously the precautions that we're taking and everything? Is there anything that you're going to be thinking, actually, I'm going to do that because that will then secure the business going forward if we should then go backwards and then stop trading? Is there anything else that you've brought into play, like online shops, or the way in which that you sell gift vouchers, or anything that you've got to bring another vein of income in?
So we do gift vouchers, and we do those through Booksy. We find it quite helpful because obviously the gift voucher can be used in any of the other businesses that people so when some client buys a gift voucher for their wife, we're like, why don't you add on some money and you can get your hair done with it, or this, that and the other, and sometimes they do. But yeah, we don't really have an online shop. Ours is about some of the new treatments that we're looking into, there's a few exciting things on the go, but I just really would like to get both the clinics back up and running as effectively and better than they were before, really. So that's my kind of next recovery from COVID in 12 months, I think.
Brilliant. And I think people sitting here that are existing businesses and have been really rattled and found it difficult through the last 12 months, as I think the majority of people have, will really find this motivational, hopefully. If that's what we hope, that's the point of the conversation, and inspiring about how somebody like yourself is now looking at their business, what they've got coming up for the future, and kind of seeing it not necessarily from a negative point, because you're a super positive person that completely bleeds out of you. You are super positive. How we can look at it and kind of feel a bit more excited about the future and what we're going to bring in. So that's great. Thank you for that. Lastly, just to close, I always like a little inspirational quote or a positive mantra. Okay. Do you have any inspirational quotes or positive mantras that you live by day to day when it comes to business and your working life?
So I do believe that what you put out there, you get back. So if you're a good person, you get that back. So one of the things that I talk to my children about is that really famous Roald Dahl quote, which is very much linked into the kind of positive universe thing of if you have good thoughts, they will shine out of you, your face like sunbeams, and you will always look lovely. So it's kind of about you put out there that you're nice, you've got good ethics, you're a good person, you will attract that back. And I do believe that doesn't matter what anyone else is doing, you just focus entirely on being a good person and doing the right thing, and you'll get that back.
That's amazing. Thank you for that. I will certainly be living by that as well. And I do believe positivity breeds positivity. So that's all good stuff. Thank you so much for your time, Rebecca.
Oh,
It's
you're
been
welcome.
absolutely gorgeous speaking to you. We're going to leave it there. If anybody would like to reach out to Rebecca, then you can find her on social media, both on Facebook and Instagram, underneath Francis Clinic. I'm sure she won't mind you reaching out to her, dropping her a little message or giving her a little like or a follow. And then you can ask her any questions that you feel you need to. Also, feel free if anybody wants to come back to me and speak to me about Booksy and maybe potential opportunities to partner with us, as Rebecca's done. You will also find me on social media, both on Facebook and Instagram, under Booksy Hayley. So yes, I'm going to let you go now and get back to work. Thank you ever so much.
Nice to speak to you, Hayley.
Take care. Bye. Bye.